Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello. I'm so excited. This is my first True North Tuesday, and I'm not only streaming on YouTube, but I've added Facebook. So I'm super excited. And of course, I forgot to turn off my gratitude alarm, so that's going off. Go ahead and put that off. And those of you who are new, I have a gratitude alarm that goes off every couple hours, starting at 8 a.m. and it goes to 8 p.m. And I do that just to keep myself regulated throughout the day. So I'm using some new features on StreamYard, and one of them that's already driving me crazy is that like and describe. It's not, I thought it would come on every so many minutes, but that's going away. Let's just put it that way. That's going to go away. So I have a few people coming in. I'm super excited. Yay! It's Tuesday, and if it's Tuesday, it's True North Tuesday. And today we're going to be talking about why everything feels so hard right now. Why everything feels so hard. So I want to share with you, of course, a new thing that I'm using is a teleprompter, and I already can see it's not going to work. This is what I love about live. You never know. And for those of us that are technology like crazy, my internet went down at 5 minutes too. So if you follow me, you know my constant story about the internet. So why does everything feel crazy right now? And I want you to put into the chat, what feels hardest for you right now? Is it making decisions? Is it staying motivated? Finding energy for just your life? Or trusting yourself? What's going on with you? So what's the hardest thing for you right now? And if that's none of those, add your own thing. So what is the hardest thing for you right now? Is it making decisions, staying motivated, finding energy, or trusting yourself? So we'll get back to the chat in just a moment. I think this is so interesting. Oh, there. Now I'm getting it to move. You know, technology and me, we're like best buds. We're like best buds. So today I want to talk about something I hear from many people that I work with and friends and family all the time. Why does everything feel so difficult right now? And it's not just the big things, it's the little things too. It's the making decisions that feels harder. It's getting started with something that feels difficult, trusting yourself, and even things you used to enjoy can somehow feel like work. Anybody else experiencing that? I know I am. And many people immediately assume there's something wrong with them. They might think I'm lazy, I'm unmotivated. It could be that I'm failing or I'm falling behind. But what if that's not the truth? What if your nervous system is trying to tell you something important? And guess what? It is. So let's start off by just stating the obvious here. Let's just state the obvious. We are living in a world of constant input. Constant. Think about it. We process things constantly throughout our day. It could be emails, it could be social media, it could be the news. How many people are still watching the news? How many? I better not see any hands out there. I better not see any hands. You can pick up your news. The important things will come to you. But one of the biggest dysregulation of our central nervous system is the nightly news. I could go on. I could talk a whole hour about the nightly news, but I'm not going to do that. So that's one of the things that's coming into us constantly, information. So we have family responsibilities. It could be that you're raising kids and there's your family responsibility. Or you could be more like me, where I have grandkids and parent responsibilities. So work can definitely be an issue. It could be an added stress that's coming at you all the time. Many people have health concerns, or they have an aging parent with a health concern. And then at our age, and I'm in my mid-50s, there's that financial stress of, I want to retire someday. I want to retire. And so I have to take in all this information about, do I need a trust or do I need a will? Do I need a financial planner? What do I need? Some more information coming at us, that financial stress. And even when we're resting, our minds are still consuming today. They are still consuming. How many of you are scrolling TikTok or Facebook or YouTube late at night, and you might be watching Well, if it's me, I'm either watching something on polygamy because I'm so fascinated anybody would live that way, or I'm scrolling just silly reels that last 30 seconds. I'm still taking stuff in. My eyes are still taking in information that's going into my brain. It's a constant stimulation. You know what? The human nervous system was never designed for this level of constant stimulation. So let's just think about our parents. So our parents, if you're my age, I'm in my late 50s. I think about my parents when they were in their late 50s. How were they spending their off hours? Yeah, they might have been watching TV, but they were also, running to games, that my sister and I played, or they were reading books, or they were sitting and having conversations. Now think about our grandparents, their generation when they were in their 50s. Hee-haw. That was about the TV that my grandparents watched. Hee-haw and Lawrence Welk. Those were the hit shows. They were not constantly taking in information. There was much more face-to-face conversation. So eventually the body begins to say, I need a break. I can't take all this information. It's gone way too far. My mind is just going nuts. The challenge is that many of us don't listen to our body until it starts to shout. And what do I mean by that? I mean that ache in your back. I mean that your shoulders are killing you. I mean that you can't think straight. I mean that you've got these feelings that are bubbling up inside of you, and you're either going to laugh, cry, or scream because our central nervous system is so dysregulated. So we need to recognize that our bodies are in survival mode. And being in that, everything changes. When your nervous system feels overwhelmed, your body shifts into protection mode. And that's its job. That's its job, is to protect you. It's working. It's doing its job. However, it's not supposed to work 24/7. It's supposed to get you back down to your base level of calm. We're going to talk about calm in a little bit. In protection mode, the body prioritizes survival. I got to survive this. I got to get up the next morning. I got to be up in 5 hours. I got to get to sleep. I got to take in this report so I can go to this meeting. I got to call and make this appointment for my mother. I got it. It's too much. It's too much. And you know what it does? Is it stomps our creativity. And it makes it really hard to hear our inner voice or intuition. We can't make long-term plans when we're like that, when we're just surviving. So, survival. And you may notice it in other ways. You may notice brain fog. You can't think clearly. You have difficulty making decisions. You procrastinate. You have fatigue. I mean, how many people are going to the doctor saying, I am exhausted? And the doctor's like, there's nothing wrong with you. We can't find anything physical wrong with you. Yeah, it's your central nervous system. And they're not looking for that. So feeling emotionally reactive. So it's that somebody cut you off on the road and every 4-letter word in the book is coming out of your mouth. You're angry instead of, whoop, I almost hit that person. Oh my gosh, I got to pay more attention. That's the difference between being regulated and dysregulated. And most importantly, you stop listening to what your body and your mind are telling you. And that's serious. Your body isn't broken. It's just trying to protect you. It's just doing its job. But its job was not to function this many hours a day, this many weeks of the year, this many years of your life. I mean, when's the last time you felt calm? Really calm. So intuition, or listening to our inner voice, requires space. One of the biggest misconceptions about intuition is that we need to work harder to hear it. Not true. In reality, intuition becomes clear when we slow down, we quiet. The quieter our central nervous system becomes, the easier it is for us to notice what feels aligned, what's draining us, what feels true, and what does fear feel like. So if you can't get down to that level of calm, then you're not going to be able to think clearly. You're not going to be able to make decisions. You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to feel anxiety. You're going to have all this stress going on because your central nervous system is working overtime. Your intuition is not missing. It's competing with the noise. And I think that's the best way to describe our society today is noise. There's so much noise. It's constant. We can't even drive down the road and my husband has to have the radio going because I don't know. Can he be alone with his own thoughts? I'm not sure. The TV's always on. It just becomes a lot. So think about a time when you felt calm. So that baseline of calm, whatever calm means for you. Think about a time that you felt calm. It doesn't have to be a perfect time. It doesn't have to be problem-free. Just calm. Think about that. And notice how much easier it is to think clearly when you're calm. So when you felt that calm, were you able to make decisions? Did you know what the next step should be? That clarity wasn't because your problem disappeared. It was because your nervous system had enough safety to hear what your inner voice was saying. So let's do a 60-second grounding that you could do anytime, any place. You could do it right now, sitting at your desk at work, and nobody would know you're doing it. So I want you to place both feet on the floor because I want you to ground to the floor and take a slow, deep breath in through the nose and exhale through your mouth. And I'm breathing off to the side so you don't have to hear all that. Yeah, that's a little much. Again, let's breathe in and exhale. You can even hum it out. That also is a central nervous system regulator. And I want you to do this activity. I want you to look around and see 5 things that you can see that are right in your view. What are 5 things you can see? And then 3 things that you can hear. So take a moment. What are 5 things you can see around you? And what are 3 things you can hear? And then the last thing is notice one thing that reminds you that you are safe in this moment. So 5 things you can see. I can see in front of me, I got a bell sitting here. I've got my sound bowl sitting here. My incense is burning. I've got a candle that's burning. I've got this great sign, and if you know, you know. Nevertheless, she persisted. So 5 things I can see. Oop, something just fell off my desk. 3 things I can hear. I can hear my voice in my headphones. I can hear a lawnmower going outside. And I can just hear the ambient noise around me. And one thing that makes me feel safe is this bell. This bell sat on my grandmother's desk as a one-room schoolhouse teacher. And she gave it to me in her will because I became the only granddaughter who became a classroom teacher. Yeah, we had a phy ed teacher, but I taught 3rd grade. My grandma eventually taught 3rd grade. But when I see this, I'm reminded of my generational and my soul's purpose. So just those 3 things, it's just that simple. So when you finish that activity, you take a breath in and remind yourself, I don't need to solve everything right now. I only need to know my next step. So doing that 60-second activity and then saying those 2 lines to yourself can really make life feel clearer, your thoughts calmer. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What has been feeling harder lately? And I'm going to jump over because I comments, but I didn't go over. Hi, Sherry. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Sherry says, trusting others and the hate. Yes. And I'm going to click this because I heard that it will show up on screen. It does. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then we have Lynn. Lynn said, let's see what it says. I do think we are overwhelmed with too much information. I totally agree. It's too much. It's too much of too much. And then Sherry also said, the distractions from the crazy in your head and belly. Amen to that, sister. Amen to that. You know, there's so much going on in our world. And If we want to get back to peace, serenity, and clarity, we have to deal with our central nervous system. We have to do it. So now I'm going to try and get off the comments. Oops, and go back to this. And let's see if it'll go back to it. It's live. It's live. And of course, it went right back to the beginning. So, I have to have a script. I'm a former teacher. I have to have a script. So I'm just going to sum things up now. So if everything is feeling hard right now, please remember, hard does not always mean that you're failing. And hard does not mean that you're doing something wrong. Your body may be asking for more, is not asking for more discipline. It's asking for more compassion. So you might be wondering, what do you do? What do you do? I see you do podcasts. I see you do Love and Light. What else do you do, Lori? And what I do is I help midlife women reconnect with their inner wisdom so that they can trust themselves again and move forward with clarity and confidence. And a couple of women that are watching right now can probably say, I'm working towards that goal. I'm working towards it. Because when we don't trust ourselves again, we often discover we were not alone as we thought we were. The thought we were afraid to say out loud, the nudges we ignored, the experiences we questioned, many others are feeling them too. And sometimes the greatest gift is not learning something new, but connecting with what you already know. So I have a series called Ask Lori Lindsay. So if you have a question for an upcoming episode, I would love for you to put it in the comments, or you can send me an email. My email is in the notes. And until next time, trust your inner compass. And remember, your body is not your enemy. It's your greatest guide. So I'm so glad you joined us today for True North Tuesday. And hopefully this technique will help you do some regulation and make you feel more serene and more trusting of your inner self. So I hope you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you around.